Sometimes the most beautiful stories in life begin with something as simple as a quiet bench under an old oak tree. For years, people walked past it, some stopping to rest, some to think, some to cry. But few knew the story behind that old weathered bench and the man who used to sit there every morning, rain or shine. His name was Thomas, a retired carpenter in his late 70s. Every morning, Thomas carried a small paper bag filled with breadcrumbs for the birds, and a folded newspaper he never seemed to read. He'd smile at strangers, greet joggers, and wave to children on their way to school. One chilly autumn morning, a young woman named Emma sat on the same bench, tears in her eyes. She had just lost her job and felt like the world had turned its back on her. Thomas sat quietly beside her for a moment and said softly, "When I lost everything once, this tree was the only one that listened. You'd be surprised how much a tree can teach you about patience." Emma smiled faintly, unsure how to respond. They talked for hours that morning about life, regrets, and second chances. When she finally stood up to leave, Thomas handed her a small wooden bird he had carved himself. "Keep it," he said. "It reminds me that even the smallest things can still fly." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Emma visited the bench often, but one morning, Thomas wasn't there. In his place was only a note tucked under a stone. It said, "Gone to visit my wife. She's been waiting a long time." Emma realized the meaning. His wife had passed away years ago. Months later, a small plaque appeared on that bench. "In memory of Thomas, who fed the birds and the hearts of strangers." Emma started leaving a few breadcrumbs every morning, just like he did. And sometimes, when the wind rustled through the oak leaves, she could almost hear his voice. "Be kind. The world always remembers kindness." Years passed, and the oak tree kept growing. New people came, sat, and left their own stories behind. The bench became more than just wood and nails. It became a quiet witness to human kindness. If you ever find yourself lost, tired, or heartbroken, maybe sit for a while under a tree. Listen to the wind, watch the birds, and remember, even small acts of kindness can last longer than a lifetime.